Coach, coming out, obviously getting the 2 wins down there, just how good's that feel to come off a weekend with a couple and kind of have that proof of concept coming into or coming down the stretch here?
Yeah, I came into the locker room after the one on Thursday and gave a big old fist pump and fired up, and I think the guys were a little caught off guard, like, we're celebrating this? Heck yeah, we're celebrating this. We're celebrating them all. And that's what I've learned, through doing this for 19 years now or whatever, is whether it's your first of the year, or for us, at that point it was the 5th, or, we get this thing going, it's 25th or 26th or something like that. You got to celebrate them all, because the flip side of that is, the losses are just so devastating and crushing at times that if you don't offset it with the joy of victory, and I think that helps to remind everyone, like, hey, we worked really hard for this, whether it was our preseason or whether it was this week's scout or whether it was something inside of the game. Like when winning does happen, and as difficult as it is, we're going to be sure to celebrate it. So it was fun to do that, after what had felt like a long stretch. There was certainly a long stretch there, and as you mentioned, getting the guys, believing a little bit there.
Coach, 17.5 from Javian average this weekend in his performances. Obviously we know throughout the season that he's got the talent to take the ball and shoot the ball and be comfortable with it in his hands. Just kind of talk about his performance this weekend, kind of what it meant to kind of both wins, as we were talking about, and just his comfortability out on the floor.
We have at times struggled to score it, throughout the whole year, and so especially early in the year, Javion, I think, took on some stuff on his shoulders and felt some pressure even to, hey, if I can score it, we'll win, or I'll get to play more, and it certainly proved true on the Washington trip where he had the night and we won. But I think even though he has scored it well in this trip, even more important is he has dictated pace, and he has got us organized, and he has played hard enough, and all the other things that you kind of look for in a lead guard too, and so it's been a both and. Certainly we'll take the points as he's scored it and all that, but his percentages haven't been incredible. It wasn't a 9 for 11 or anything like that. But I think the reason we won, just out of Javion's perception, it was some of those other things of organization and playing hard and decision making, and then of course scoring it on top of that too.
And is that something that you kind of look to him and say, hey, we need this out of you tonight, we need this out of you Saturday, or is that something that he kind of flipped a switch and said, hey, this is going to be, I feel good, this is, I feel comfortable tonight, I'm going to go out?
Yeah, it's been hard, not hard, but it's been transition, like, hey, certain set, we want you to do this, and, trying to figure out exactly, man, what does coach want? And maybe, whether I didn't define it clearly or, he didn't pursue the whatever, and that's true of all of our guys. We met each other for the first time like September 3rd, with the D2 rules. We couldn't do anything in the summer. And so we have felt like, and even mentioned at times, we felt like we've been, almost a season behind, in a lot of ways, where things that we're now doing in February, some of those guys were doing in October and November, and we're going to catch up, and our learning curve is steep. But I think the same is true with Javion as well. It's just a better understanding. It's taken, 70 practices and 25 games to kind of figure out exactly, okay, this is how it works and fits together, and this is how, or what I need to provide. And I haven't felt throughout that I've been working against any of our guys. I don't feel like they've been, pushing back like, no, that's not what we're going to do. I think it's been more just a lack of clarity or understanding or happening like, oh, now I get it. And hopefully that's, starting to kick in a little bit.
Monster game from Jack during the weekend too, and career high in scoring, I believe, and he's a guy, I don't know if it's fair to say his role changed throughout the season because his minutes, he's always been playing big minutes, but he's gone in and out of the starting lineup a little bit, and for him to stick with it and have a day like he had, what can you say about Jack?
Yeah, Jack's great, and I think if you asked him, he would share those sentiments like, man, I was starting, now I'm not starting, what does that mean? And like competitiveness and pride always factors in, in those ways. But it didn't affect, his approach daily, which is the most important part. And we want those guys to go score. We throw it to them a lot. We let them make decisions. Him, Trey, Byron, in some of that stuff, the way that a lot of teams in the league guard us. And we're trying to shape him from a catch it and pass it first guy to a catch it and score it first guy. And there's still moments where our bench, will get fired up and dunk it, shoot it, where he has opportunities where he was early, smile on his face. Hey, 3 is more than 2. I was like, hey, man, 2 is more than 0. Let's take the 1 in the hand and whatever. And so just his comfortability, I think, of what when we throw it to him and where his scoring spots are and all that stuff has been a progression. And they say things like, man, it's a process. And it's so annoying for that to hear that, but it's also so true. We're trying to speed it up as fast as we can, because we don't want to be in the waters of figuring it out and, hey, good try and good job and almost. None of us are built like that. But starting to see the fruits of some of the labor here, not just in the wins this week. I think it was also true in the Southern game. I think it was also true in the Pitt game. We've seen it in the Washburn game at home. Like, we've seen it coming. It hasn't been an all-the-year thing. There's been some setbacks. I think our home game against Central Missouri and our away game in Central Oklahoma were not in the sphere of, okay, this is going how we want it to go. But several other games have been trending up in that way and broke through, and we'll see if we can't keep it going this week.
Speaking of guys getting yelled at to shoot it, Marcus, getting ready to celebrate the seniors this week. I think 4 total walk-in. What have those guys in your first year here? How have those guys kind of help get you into the program and get you situated your first year of college here?
Yeah, they're all a little bit different. Like, I guess Emery's a little bit more quieter. Moose is more outgoing and outspoken. But I've learned a lot from all of them. And not only are they great players, but they're just really good people too. And I know if I ever need something, I can just shoot them a text or a call and be like, hey, can you help me out with this? And they'd be perfectly fine doing it and help me out. So it's just a big testimony to them.
What was that like coming off of this weekend? Coach mentioned the Northeastern game and coming in the locker room excited, but when you're able to stack 2 in a row like that, what's that do for you guys and the team in general?
It was awesome. Like, I don't know if we did that all year, and so just doing it as a first-time thing and hopefully continue to 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, just continue to do that. And, just it's a long process. And I felt like we've had a lot of games where, if we flip the switch a little bit and we'd have a different outcome and our season would be a little bit different. But, we're still fighting.
Coaches, the seniors, first year in the program, obviously, you want to have that great leadership core to do it. What have these guys kind of meant to you and meant to this first year in the program?
Yeah, I think it always is special when, you got guys that you feel like are on your side, and just a unique season where you're transitioning from, past coach to new coach, and it's not always an either or. Like, it can be a both and. Like, really proud, of the things that they did early in their career, and coming here and national championships and all the things, and some of those guys have won 2. We're not that far removed, from that being true of them. And then also them having the unique experience of, helping to pass the torch on to the next one and embrace some of the newness, carry on some of the things that, are the family part of the past, and always, as much as anyone, they're bridging the gap, right, between that. And so hoping it's a deal that, as we continue on, they can take a lot of pride in playing that role of doing that. And I'm certainly thankful for them for doing that, for sticking with us, for showing up every day. There are teams right now, basketball is so unique that the season gets so long. We have 100 practices and whatever games and 2 semesters and 5 months, and I feel like it's unlike any other sport, just with, not saying the other ones don't work hard, but just the amount of time we spend together. And when it doesn't go like you want, certain guys that at times in different programs start showing up late, maybe don't show up this day. Maybe show up, but show up with individual intentions. Like, yeah, I'm going to be here, but I'm going to get my average today. And I have not had to fight that with any of these guys. I haven't had to do it. It hasn't even entered my mind. You know, you almost get reminded of it when you see it happening in other programs. But these guys are aces when it comes to being people. You know, a lot of tradition, a lot of pride. We're going to, you know, hopefully spend this week, you know, sending them out the right way. But essentially it's playing hard and you know, doing the things that equal victory. And hopefully then that gets to take care of itself.
Yeah, March talked about stacking the wins and trying to make it 3-4 and all that. Obviously that's this weekend. What have you seen from the teams you've got coming up with Emporia and Newman, and what's going to be the key to kind of keeping those good vibes going at home?
Yeah, with the you know, like we mentioned earlier in the interview, the kind of, we feel like we've been catching up all year. We've certainly given attention to opponents, but maybe not as much as we will going forward. It's still been so much about the things that we can control, of getting organized offensively, playing with the right amount of pace, being on the same page defensively on what we want to do with different coverages and guarding. And that'll be true still this week of cementing our foundations. But, you know, Newman just went down and, you know, beat Northeastern and Rogers. And Emporia State's playing way better, you know, than they were early in the year. Probably similar to us, I think, in that same way, you know, that they're starting, new coach, starting to get things figured out a little bit too. So just from the opponents, they're going to be, you know, a challenge like anyone in the MIAA is. But, you know, we still, I mean, we spent some time reading Good to Great, and there's the combination of being the eternal optimist with the understanding of the brutality of your situation right now. And we talked about that about a week ago. And we embraced the brutality of where we were, you know, and so what can we do right now in this moment? Today, that's going to be practice for us. You know, how can we do that? But we have the eternal optimism of, hey, we win 2, and there's still ways into that conference tournament. Now we get in the conference tournament, we've won 4 in a row, and we get a play-in game. And we've played some of these teams that we think, like, man, we're a possession or 2 away. You heard Marcus say it, right? Now all of a sudden we're on a neutral floor. Now all of a sudden we're winners of 5 in a row. Now all of a sudden, and you don't know, like, if those things could happen, but it's certainly a picture that we're painting, one that we believe in is an opportunity, and the madness of March rolls over on Saturday. I think Saturday is, in fact, you know, March 1st, and a lot of fun things start happening in that month, and we just assume to be a part of them.